Zamasu keeps up his pompous elitist attitude, and Vegeta and Trunks have a father bonding moment in Dragon Ball Super episode 54. Hello there, beautiful friends, and this is, of course, my review. My very late review of Dragon Ball Super episode 54, but better late than never, right? Right? Here in this episode, we get a throwback to a little thing that happened in the beginning of the Namek arc, which is image training. Now, I'm actually kind of surprised that image training hasn't been used more in Dragon Ball than it has. I thought it was a very cool concept when it was first introduced, so seeing Trunks use it was kind of a nice throwback, and it honestly just made me think about all the times image training could have been used and wasn't. But, you know, whatever. At least we got to see it here. One thing I really did like to see is that apparently Pilaf is an expert programmer. Who knows, maybe he was an expert or maybe it was just dumb luck. I wasn't really sure from the context of the scene. It could have gone either way. Whatever the case, he did help Bulma in her program, so there's that. And I suppose even though Whis and Beerus have explicitly said that time manipulation is only something that was reserved for the gods, they're still going to let Bulma repair the time machine? I guess the Dragon Ball characters get exceptions for everything. But I really do like a little scene where Mai has a little fantasy with future Trunks. Now, of course, Mai is actually a much older woman and not a child. But of course, with the whole age thing where an older woman is now a child, and now a child is attracted to another child, but the child is really an older woman in her head, and then that older woman in their head, but an external child is attracted to future Trunks. Anyway, regardless, I think the writers of Dragon Ball Super were very self-aware of how weird it can get sometimes. And I think they kind of acknowledged it in this little scene where Mai kind of has this whole moment with future Trunks. It was very reminiscent of really the first episode of this entire arc where Mai was dying or dead, but not really. I mean, we know she's not dead, but that Mai hasn't come back yet for some reason. But anyway, to me, the most interesting part of this episode was definitely we went back to Universe 10 and we observed Gowasu and Zamasu observing new sentient life. And of course, Zamasu was having his same old elitist attitude towards it. Now, of course, the primitive life that was just forming was acting a little barbaric and violent. And of course, Zamasu took that in a very disgusting manner and even suggesting exterminating that life because it was disrupting the peace or something. Now, something about Zamasu is really rubbing me the wrong way, and it's the fact that I get it. He's that character archetype where he views, oh, these puny mortals, they're causing violence, they're causing chaos, they're not, with them around, we can never have true peace in the world. But what I don't understand about his mindset is, these are very primitive creatures. After 1,000 years, the progress they made was beating each other with clubs. So, my question to Zamasu, and if I could talk to Zamasu, is what threat to the universe are these primitive creatures even gonna do? They're beating themselves up. Hell, they are no threat to the grander scheme of things in their immediate space around them. So why is Zamasu so intent on wiping them out? In fact, you inserting yourself into this situation only creates more chaos than leaving them alone. In fact, they could potentially just wipe themselves out in primitive fashion, and that would all serve your purposes, and they would wipe themselves out, and you wouldn't be interfering with them anyway. So I don't know, something about Zamasu really is rubbing me the wrong way. He feels like a prick, pretty much. He feels like a prick. I hesitate to call him a poorly written character at this point because I feel that his motivations have really not been thought through thoroughly, but we will see. Hopefully, it's not what I'm thinking. And because if it is, I'm going to have serious criticisms of Zamasu, but that can wait to the end of the arc and if it's leading up to that direction. Another interesting little scene is where Gowasu starts showing Zamasu the time rings, and apparently new time rings start appearing when new timelines are being formed, and he says that there have been new time rings have been created because of the meddling of the timelines. Now, what does this really mean in the grander scheme of things? We're not sure yet. But that's something very interesting that I thought would have been discussed with Beerus and Whis in the previous episode, but wasn't. Maybe it's something that Gowasu is trying to hide. And our action scene for the episode is a little sparring match between Trunks and Vegeta. Now, of course, Vegeta is very motivated to get Trunks even stronger because, of course, he's his blood. And this is the first time Trunks witnesses the Super Saiyan Blue transformation. One thing I really did like about this scene is that Trunks goes into his Ultra Super Saiyan form, or Super Saiyan Grade 3, and tricking Vegeta into thinking that he was going to use that form, but it wasn't. It was all just a trick to catch him off guard. It was a nice little action scene, and I really did like at the end how Trunks hit Vegeta at the end. Because after all, I mean, we all knew that Trunks really had no chance against Vegeta, so the only chance he really did have is to outsmart him, not to outfight him, because there was no way he was going to be able to do that. This episode ends up with the King of All, the Omni King, whatever you want to call him, sending a message to Beerus and Whis saying that he wants to have a council with Goku. Now, why would he want to have a council with Goku? Something tells me that it probably has something to do with Black Goku, but you know what? You probably have seen episode 55 anyway at this point, so you probably already know why he wants to have a council with Goku anyway. But you know what? Meet me in my review of episode 55 because I was behind this week and last week, so whatever. Meet me in the next episode review. But if you like this episode review and if you like my thoughts, please subscribe to the channel as I'll be bringing you more Dragon Ball Super videos, Dragon Ball videos, and of course these reviews when they ever come out. But until next time, guys, I'm Blackenfist, and I'm out, man.